The biblical world seems to have become part of our world. Better said, our world rests on the ruins of the old world. Strange images of a collapsed landscape lie beneath our feet. A jumble of deformed stone partitions and lost slabs. Situation in Miram Lagoon, Brazil. Some satellite images clearly show their location below the surface. Blue circles indicate sinkholes full of water. These very old stone structures resemble spider webs. Swampy shores in Buenos Aires. And one more picture from Choeung-gong, Tibet. Apparently, an old settlement has collapsed here. The ruins are calcified. Geometric images are identical all over the world. How many are deep under the desert sands or at the bottom of the seas? Do runes or architectural elements also come from this geometry? If so, who has seen them? Chuosukeluk Lake, White Mountain, China, near Baigong, finding pipes in caves. The ruins of a destroyed advanced civilization appear before our eyes. The vegetation in the landscape reveals the situation below the surface, especially where water rises. Flooded grates, Yucatan, Mexico. In some areas, such as Nevada, identifying these shapes is more difficult. There's no groundwater. By the way, the word Nevada means no water in the Slavic language. Australia. The Greats are hardly visible. This continent seems to have been hit harder by the cataclysm than other places on the planet. Note the bright as if burnt points. That looks like an X-ray. In some areas, these formations are chaotic, but the reason may be deformation by heat, pressure and displacement. The rifted and deformed grid in Lake Mancha, Pakistan is still connected to the mainland. The rest is hidden beneath the land surface. The regular geometric strips of green in the fields could have been water channels a very long time ago. Gahai Township, China, near the pipeline discovery in Baigong, and its surrounding fields also hide ancient secrets. These shapes are not random. Once the colors are highlighted, the overall picture is unreal. We can even see the limestone clusters in the bedrock. The mythical Dwarka in India. I have to go back there again and show you this picture. It's a huge sinkhole full of water. But in the middle of it is something incredible. Collapsed stone slabs with regular cooting. We'll compare them with another find a few miles away. Dwarka lies at the mouth of India's Gulf of Kutch. Further inland, these cooting slabs were discovered lying on a stone grid. As you can see, there is water everywhere under the area. These grates appear to have been anchored to gigantic columns, which we will discuss in the next video. Compare the two images. In the second one you can clearly see the support grids and clean-cut lines. Let's go back to Texas. once again Gulf of Kutch, India. We're looking at the torn-off bulkheads of the grate that end at the seashore. Part of the area is very certainly lost in the sea. After interference with the surface, white limestone appears in many places. After its removal by the mining company, water always appears. A dried area of the Aral Sea in Kazakhstan reveals a very old settlement. The geometry is very chaotic due to high water pressure and bedrock displacements. Geometric formations in some areas of Texas may suggest the permanent presence of slabs that were buried there. Are the so-called tectonic plates also part of this construction? Gulf of Kutch, India. Deformed grate. Note the regular shape of this field in Texas. The surrounding area is limestone and stone. There also appears to be water beneath this field. The blue marks are limestone sinkholes that have formed a sort of well. Another world covered. Red circles again highlight the sunken places. Also, the Florida Everglades has a big secret. In this picture, you can see the swamp hiding the grate. The vegetation has taken hold on the hard parts. This picture is very interesting. This is proof that the destruction was different in certain areas. The arrow indicates the original location, while the right side has been destroyed due to pressure and displacement of the rock. And again an unknown landscape. The yellow circles mark the sinkholes full of water. We take another look at what's happening in Huatugujen, China, near the Baigong Pipes site. After the vegetation and topsoil are removed, calcified grates appear. We'll take here another look later. I don't know what to think of this picture. It looks like someone's trying to cover their tracks. I've seen this before in the case of the picture in the field in Teotihuacan, which was covered up by advertising. But the eye of the satellite sees everything. Incredible colors again. I think our eyes are deprived of many colors. I also want to show you the Carnac region in France, to which I have already dedicated a video. There are large flooded areas off the coast that show plate and grid geometry. It's likely that large parts of it have been irretrievably lost in the ocean. Also, there are many circles in Texas. There are thousands of them all over the planet. What are they hiding? The same circles can also be found in the Saudi Arabian desert. They are connected by many roads, but no one travels through them. Time seems to have stopped here. Most of these grates appear to be well preserved in Texas. And most interesting, China's Huatugugen near Baigong. The geometry here looks like a castle park, or a city with a park. Like in Venice Lagoon. There's clearing work going on here. Someone knows. He knows the origin of the Baigong pipes. The area appears to have been covered in limestone. We also find mention of it in the Bible. Where the arrow is, we see a sinkhole and there are no partitions. Italy's Venetian Lagoon, or Grado Lagoon, can also be said to be a huge sinkhole. But thanks to technology, we can see the whole geometry of these areas. They really do look like gardens. A general view of part of the Texas fields. The limestone clusters below the surface are very visible. Let's take a closer look in the next image. Detail of limestone formations below the surface. And discovered circle in La Joya, Brazil. Lime deposits are still visible and there are fields of grates in the area. Video can be found on this channel. Back to the circles in Texas. Here, too, the limestone formations beneath the fields are clearly visible. They reminiscent of the Marmatis cloud. Another interesting circle reveals itself on the Bolivian-Chilean border. On the left you see another stone grid. Down outside the picture are the remains of slabs from these grates as well as a devastated town. You can also find the video for this tema on this channel. The situation in Nevada's Nuclear Valley. There is no water in most of Nevada. It's deep below the surface. Question: do you really think someone is going to build a network of roads and intersections to destroy them with a nuclear blast? Let's jump back to Texas. The vegetation on the left seems to be covering the geometric area. The presence of circles and sinkholes speaks of a different human history. Some furrows and vegetated lines may be the lost waterways. Here we can see the connection of the partitions to the canal. Down along the road are curiously regular grassy areas. Rotonda, Florida. When I saw this, I remembered Plato's words about Atlantis, stripes of water alternating with stripes of land. And that's true of Rotonda. Even though the canals are lost and one segment of the circle is missing entirely. The blue fields were probably once bodies of water. Texas. Field hiding the geometry of the grids. Unfortunately, the partitions are missing or deformed. Only at the site of the arrow are they preserved in their original state. There are many sinkholes with water in the area. In close-up, the situation is clearly visible without highlighting. We conclude the video with a look at the grids in the Nevada desert. Thank you for watching and subscribing to this channel.